right, good late evening. Let's jump into MSTY. This is trading after declaration day. All right, so what happened? Let's take a look at MSTY. So they've blown by their weeklies, but they're doing really good to make it up on their synthetic. So let's see it. All right, so these are the three trades, right? Bought a call, sold short the same amount of calls on their 1540, which has been their ongoing, and they're now up close to 1680. And they went out a week, right, with just, you know, 2 more trading days. So that was smart. And they went clear to 1820. So I give the fund manager an A for realizing that. And just with a high IV on MSTY, you get out to 1820, and they got $48. I mean, it's only 50 contracts, right? Because these guys, you know, the share count went up substantially, right? So it went up 750,000, right, on that day. So that's pretty significant for them, right, to go from 5.7 to 6.4. So we'll look at the 50 here that they sold for 48. So 1820, break even's 1868. They're 7.39% out of the money. Now, granted, there's 7 trading days, right? So they collected 240,000. So that goes in the piggy bank. By the way, when you see it, I'm still using May. I will use ex-dividend date tomorrow, and that's where I go month to month. So I'll switch over to June. I've left the, you know, I've copied my May data into June, and I'll start working in the June tab so that we have some kind of consistency in the accounting from month to month. Because people ask me, do you go the first of the month? Do you go from pay date? I said, well, I usually go to ex-dividend date because they've already allocated the cash and the stock has dropped down, and then I track the transaction. So some of these that close will show the gain or the loss over in June, right? Because they're really still open. Like all these are open, and this is a new one. But clearly, this one will end up going back over into June. So anyway, that's the scenario there. Let's look at the weekly. Because of where they are, right? They're well above the 1540. Remember, it was just a few days ago we went back down, you know, almost to 1540 or right below it. So these things are volatile. Crypto, hence, you know, I gotta say the 303 payout was, you know, 60 cents. I had 242, right? So it's 61 cents above. And by the way, even though I blew it on YBIT, so I had MSTY, I had CONY, and I had YBIT that I track and follow, right? GDXY I'm tracking and following, but they weren't paying yet. So for those funds, you know, I missed this one bigly, right? I was saying 250 plus, could go as high as 280. Well, it was 137, right? And sorry, I'm just going back and clarifying this. So for CONY, I don't have it in front of me, but I was around $1.22, right? It paid $1.69. But when you added all of those together, right, I had MSTY at 242. And let me, sorry, these were reality, but what I had, right? I had 242. So when I added these three together, I think I got 614. Or this is showing, let's see, 242, 122, and YBIT I had 250. Okay. So 614. Well, when you look at the actuals, right? 303. CONY was 169 and change, and YBIT was 137. So 599. whoops, and I knew it was closer. I knew that I was only like 4 cents off. This paid 169. Okay, so 609 to 614. So I was high by 5 cents. Well, everybody beats me up on this one, right? I mean, I got some, one or two really, I know they're trolls, and I'm not going to continue my stuff. But, we all make mistakes. I learned something from it on where they're willing to go out and where they're not, right? But they had collected good money. But crypto's very volatile, and they were behind in their synthetic, even though they had a ton of profits in it in the piggy bank. So they're just willing to do certain things at different times. And so I think that's pretty darn good, 609 out of 614. And I pointed out that I was 2 pennies on ULTY on that. And this weekend I'm going to do YMAG, YMAX, and ULTY. And nobody was that close. I think anybody else I saw in predictions was 10, 15 cents off. And ULTY is super hard, right? It's a little easier to do YMAG is 7, so it's not that hard. YMAX, you got a lot of funds, but you basically, weight them and average them all. So, and the other call I had was I moved 75, 80%. I think it was 75%. I told everybody I was doing that well before the dividend, right? Because I had these equal. I had the same amount of CONY and the same amount of MSTY. And because the payment was coming, I sold a substantial 75% of my holdings and moved it all into MSTY. So I was, super heavy in that. And then I went in and I bought 750 shares of YBIT, which is very small shares compared to my MSTY and CONY holdings. And this was all just in, one of my accounts. That's where I have a lot more MSTY and CONY without YBIT. Then I bought 50 shares more yesterday, right? So I'm up to 800. I didn't sell any YBIT. I mean, an 81% yield, I'm happy. All right, just, trying to defend myself a little, but at the same time, just let you guys know, they're estimates. If I knew it, I'd be some guru or had inside information. Nobody knows this stuff, right? You learn as you go. Okay, so continuing on MSTY, here's their scenario, right? So when we buy these and we're well over, we pay a lot for the call because it's got a lot of in the money value. And the put is less valuable because it's closer to 0, right? It won't have any value come 7/19 unless it's $1 over 51, right? Then it'll be worth $1. So that's how that works. Okay, so going along, let's look where we're hurting on the weeklies, and then I'll show it to you in holdings. All right, so we have 965 contracts at 16.10. Well, look at where we are. So that means to buy it back, it's going to be a minimum right now of $84. Okay, well, we sold it for decent money, but nowhere near 30 something, 16.10. Yeah, 33 we sold it for. So that means when it's 16.43, we give back all of our money, but we're in the mode where we got to pay a lot. Okay, so it's not all bad though, because we kill it. So rather than go through each one and show you, by the way, this one's color coded because they went out, right? We're still 4.4 and 6.21. So we probably won't end up losing, but look, their quantity is so small. They put the big one here, right? And these two together. This one, it's hard to tell. Do we run on up? 1800 is going to be big resistance, right? So I don't see them blowing by it. Could they? Of course. All right. So this is where we're hurt. Right now, this 3708 that we collected, now I'm only counting these. I'm not counting this one, right? It's not that much money. I think it was 240. So 3.7, and we got to buy it back for 10.4 right now, right? With 2 trading days. So time premium's not that much. We just ran by them. So let's look at it. The same thing in holdings, except more, right? This is all our cash and treasuries we use for collateral. Share count went up. They're saving a lot of the cash. They could have bought more with the amount, but they're saving the cash to pay 303 times you know, they got to pay the share count, right? So this is the final share count. That's all they have to pay, right? So that's 18, 19 million. That's about what our gain in the synthetic is, right? We got 19 million in cash here, and that's what we got to pay, right? You just do, so I can do that math for you. So here's what the payment is, right? Times 3.03. Let's see if I got it. Yeah, 19,619,000 is the amount of cash that will leave the fund, right? And remember that our price drops, right? So by the time pre-market opens, right, it will have, you know, taken $3.03 from the NAV. So you even kind of see it down here, right? We closed at 34.86 at fair value. Or sorry, that was our close. This becomes fair value. So they've already allocated that cash out of the account, right, to kind of reflect that. That's why the NAV opens up, right? But remember, pre-market, this thing could go up $1.50 tomorrow, and everybody go, well, it didn't drop 303. Look, it's only down, you know, $1.70. Well, duh. Okay, so these are the counts. This is the ugliness, right? The 965 is, you know, we got to pay what we collected 3.1 million. We got to pay 9.6 to get it back right now. Okay. So, but look at this. Look at the beauty of the synthetic. Because we moved up, right, above 1540 further, we've got 19 million. So technically, we're losing 10 million, 10.4, because that's what all we'd have to pay. And we collected 3.6, but this is what we have to pay right now. And then we gain 19. So that's kind of to our benefit, okay? You can see it down here. This is where we dropped below. We were like 539, or sorry, 1539, like that. We were right below the 1540. And within 3 trading days, look at this. Boom, boom, boom. You know, Mr. and subsequently Misty have moved up. So that's our position, okay? And let's look at payouts. It doesn't matter right now. Tomorrow really starts everything that matters for it. So we got a nice 303 yielding 106.33, right? So we're kicking butt here. So appreciate all my new subscribers. Appreciate all the comments on you guys to come to my defense, you know, because all it takes is a few trolls. I don't know. Anytime you have a job and you do it, you know, you're really trying to help people. I mean, I relate to people. You know, I chat about common interest. I know you're out there. I see your comments, right? And there's always going to be, look, there's a lot of channels that I follow that I never subscribed to, right? But I saw that they had a lot of subscribers. But when I look back, now that I'm a YouTuber, it's kind of like a waitress. They have empathy for other servers, right? Other waiters or waitresses. So I'll be better in that. But I appreciate the comments, right? I get people that just say, hey, great job, Bruce. You don't have to do that. But I appreciate it. It helps my channel, makes me feel good. I can tell you there's no way I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing. I mean, my ramp up in the last couple of weeks with a little bit of focus on some new videos, reaching out to a broader audience and waking them up to what you can do in these Yieldmax funds to my, you know, my longer term, which is, you know, I've only had my channel for, you know, April and May really, and a few days of June. So I'm just floored with the loyalty that you've given me, and it makes me want to just continue to do more and more for you. So that's my promise to you. You've given me your faith, right, and your positive vibes, and I'm here for the long run for you. Okay, that's all I got to do. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm going to work on CONY next. Hey, have a great evening. Sleep if you are, or if you're up late. Okay, bye.